Welcome back to Critic Cut. People talk about like, oh, people won't go to the movies anymore, or people won't watch movies anymore with other mediums of storytelling, like video games or VR or some of these other emerging technologies, which are great means of storytelling as well. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's fair to say cinema isn't going anywhere. There's something about cinema that a lot of other technologies can't do, is that you can pull up a close-up of someone and see into their eyes. Photography is somewhat similar in that you can capture emotion by, using these like close-ups and stuff, but you can't in the same way that film can, that, has moving pictures. A director can draw people to a specific thing or lead people into a story like I don't think any other medium can. Books have their place, video games have their place, VR has its place, but cinema I think is unique in that it's this visual medium like some of these other mediums, but also has this very directed flow, almost like a book. It's almost like this bridging a gap in storytelling technology that I think isn't going anywhere anytime soon, because we all like that about reading a good book or watching a good movie, is that we like being drawn in and led through a story rather than and not to say like video games aren't or some of these other mediums aren't similar, but it's not the same way. You're always missing some aspect of the cinematic experience, like whether that be pacing, combining music, and then these actors' performances while being able to edit them in a certain timing, giving pacing and, speeding things up, slowing things down, and drawing people's attention to certain things by using camera angles. With VR, if you're like looking around and not focusing in on what the director was intending, it's just a different medium. People out there who are like, oh, it's doomsday for cinema, but I disagree. I think there's no better time to be making movies with technology like, real-time visual effects, on-set VFX, like with Unreal Engine and Unity, and computer hardware is so much more accessible. You have things like Blender so that anyone can use, very good visual effects software for free. You can get cameras and computers a lot cheaper than they used to be, still not cheap, but way cheaper than they used to be. The bar of getting into it is so much lower, and you have distribution platforms like YouTube, and so the only thing keeping people back from making movies is telling good stories. We need to write good stories and tell good stories, and that's what makes good movies. I'm all for these other means of telling stories. Don't think I'm like a snob, like, oh, cinema is the only way to experience a story. No, like books are great. Like people ought to read more these days. Video games are great. I enjoy video games. But there's nothing like the cinematic experience of being led through a story by a talented director and screenwriter and a director of photography. There's just nothing like it. And I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, keep telling good stories.